I'm the computer man. I'm the Macintosh man with the virus scan. Moving your files all across the land. Some Photoshop filters in After Dark. Get your Microsoft Office, express your quark. Millions of colors with a VRAM chip. How about a system crash that'll make you flip? I'm the computer man. I'm saying Windows 95 is plug and pray. If it's fonts you want, you gotta go to Macway. Log right on as my personal guest. You'll have Macintosh software on your desk. Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer.
Good evening, K-Squid listeners. Good evening, Santa Cruz, Central Coast, Monterey, and beyond. My name is Luigi Opido, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers right here by the beach in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. And for the next hour, I am your tour guide into a world of wonder, magic, information, and a lot of frustration. That's right, we're talking about the internet and the world of computing. I am your computer man. Welcome, one of the most helpful, friendly tech counters you've ever visited. I'd like to welcome you to your Tuesday nights, your local radio station, your local KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 90.7 FM, also on 89.5 and 89.7 FM, and always online at ksqd.org, broadcasting along those inner tubes wherever the internet may reach. Oh, welcome to your show, everybody. Welcome tonight. Welcome. So glad to be here with you tonight. Of course, write down that phone number for later, 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD. Got to save that for a little bit later so you can call into the show when you need to. But I'd like to welcome you. Welcome. This is your radio station. Welcome to your next hour of computer madness. We're going to squeeze at least 2.5 hours worth of stuff into this next hour, and you're going to love it, I know. But boy, if you say to yourself at any point, wow, this guy's talking a little bit quick, how am I supposed to get these steps down? Well, that ksqd.org website we mentioned, head over to that, and you can see our 2-week audio archive underneath our listening tab. So hit the listening tab, 2-week audio archive, and you can listen to any of the amazing KSQD shows that we have here to offer at KSQD, and they're all on there. You can listen to any of our music shows, our talk shows, anything you've got. If there's something late night you missed last night, that's okay. It's there, ready to rock and roll for you. And while you're on our amazing website, while you're checking it out, if you haven't opened up your wallet this year, this is a perfect time to do it. Click on that donate button while you're viewing the amazing KSQD website and give what we like to call maybe your fair share, what you feel is your spot here for listening, what it's worth to you, what community radio is worth to you. And, we always... I always say, I'm here because of you. And that's literally the truth. We are not here for any other reason besides the amazing listenership that we have and those people helping us out with donations. So we don't have to be beholden to any other corporate company or corporation or say one thing is good when it's not. So that's why I get to talk about Apple and Amazon and all these different things, because I am here for you. So jump on there to ksqd.org, click on that donate button, and keep me on the air. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. If you'd like to reach out to me after the show, you can always email me, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. Many of you are reaching out on email. That's fantastic. I appreciate it. Always looking forward to seeing the emails come through. So if you want to jump on that, feel free to do that. If while we're on the air, you can actually hit me up at onair at ksqd.org. And that is our on-air email address. So we can see those emails coming through, and if you need to say something about the show or something's going on, just give me an email. I'd love to hear about it. Maybe we can answer your question right on air as well. Or you can give me a call here at 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD. Okay, well, first of all, what is this amazing Computer Man show that you've stumbled across here on your dial, either on 89.5, 89.7, or 90.7 FM? And we are all about computers. That's right. Yeah, we're up to updates, new devices, testimonials, scams, and most importantly, our call-ins. What is going on with your machine? What is going on with your stuff that's supposed to work that you spent all this money on and now is not working? That's what we're going to be all about. We're here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 p.m., and you can give me a call, 831-900-5773. Okay, so there are a couple scams going around. One of the ones I want to talk about actually is, it's not necessarily a scam, but it's a notification that Apple sends you about something called mercenary spyware. So first of all, there's something called an Apple threat notification. I had never even heard about this until last week. But an Apple threat notification, they're designed by Apple to inform and assist users who may have been individually targeted by mercenary spyware attacks, likely because of who they are or what they do. And it's one of those things like you wouldn't be, this is not like for me or anybody who has just a normal everyday day-to-day thing. This is like if you're a celebrity, if you're out there and your face is in there and you're a politician or something, something like that. These attacks evidently are much more complex than just regular cyber criminal activity or consumer malware. And as these attackers apply exceptional resources to target a very small number of specific individuals and their devices. Mercenary spyware attacks cost millions of dollars and often have a short shelf life, making them harder to detect and prevent. But the vast majority of users will never be targeted. So what this was, why I wanted to bring about it, because most of us will never even see this, is because there is a threat notification that pops up at the top of your Apple ID. Now, I had never heard of this. Someone had actually emailed in another tech support service with this question, and I thought this was really interesting. But evidently, the threat notification is displayed at the top of the page after a user signs into appleid.apple.com. And that's to look at your Apple ID online using your web browser. Then Apple then sends an email and iMessage notification to the email addresses and phone numbers associated with that user's Apple ID. And the notifications provide additional steps that notified users can take to help prevent something going on from themselves. These attacks are well funded. They're evolved over time. Why are we talking about it? Well, I just want to say, if you receive one of these, if you received a threat, we strongly suggest that you enlist expert help, such as the rapid response emergency security assistance provided by Digital Security Helpline at the nonprofit Access Now. Apple threat notification recipients can contact Digital Security Helpline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through their website of the Digital Security Helpline. Outside organizations do not have any information about what caused Apple to send a threat notification, but they can assist targeted users with tailored security advice. But as for guidance, as Apple says for all users, make sure your devices are updated to the latest software, includes the latest security fixes in those latest updates. Protect your devices with a passcode that's not just a single string of digits. Use two-factor authentication, a strong password for Apple ID. Install apps only from the App Store, which pretty soon you're going to be able to do that from anywhere. Can't yet, but only from the App Store. Use strong and unique passwords online, and don't click on links or attachments from unknown senders. That kind of goes back to the main thing that we always talk about, right? Which is always reading your email and looking at the link going, But again, we can check a lot of these things. Like, if there is a link coming through in an email, and you just highlight over it, you'll be able to see where it's going in the bottom left-hand side of your screen. And that's in most browsers, whether it be in Firefox or Chrome or Edge or Safari or Opera or Tor browser or whatever you're using. So it all kind of boils down to the same thing again. Like, of course, that was a big, super high profile thing, but I actually didn't know there was some notification that would actually show up if you were being inundated with something based on that. It almost sounds like it's like a sniffer thing where they used to have these black boxes, these scorpion boxes, I think is what they were called, where the police would have a box that would basically emulate a cell phone tower. So what it would do is it would emulate the tower, your phone, and every phone around it would connect to it, thinking that it's the closest tower, and then it would then repropagate and rebroadcast that signal to the actual tower. So it was like this inline, like man-in-the-middle attack, where you have somebody literally in the center catching all the transmissions back and forth without the person knowing that any transmission is being received or sent by this special black box. So it's, again, really, really specific to someone who's they're really specifically targeting, and it's something that we just normally don't have to worry about. But if you were to sign into your Apple ID and see a notice at the top, it's legit, at least when you sign in. So I don't know if they're going to start coming up with other things that aren't legit that would make the people to click on something else thinking that this is this when this now exists. I'm not sure. So more of a education, hey, this is out there, and we'll see what happens with it. The AT&T data breach is still going on. 73 million current and former accounts on the dark web were exposed. They are still pushing forward. If you have an AT&T account or had an AT&T account, you might want to just check that out and see if you have any type of issue with AT&T. And you can check that by going to haveibeenpwned, PWNED.com, haveibeenpwned.com. And that will then, you can type in your email address. It's completely legit. It's run by a white hat hacker, and then that will actually do a search on the databases that he has available to him to see if you've been involved in a breach. And like my email address has been involved in a number of breaches. We all have. It's going to happen. But if you have that 0 pastes underneath it, then you're good. That means it just wasn't pasted on other things and taken off. So, okay, let's, are there any other scams I want to talk about, or should we just get directly into email questions? We have a lot of email questions tonight. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I actually wanted to talk a little bit about, we talked a little bit last week about this, about Amazon abandoning their grocery stores, the ones where you just walk out where they were AI, where it was fake AI, where they actually employed something like, what was it, like 1,000 or 1,500 people in India to watch all the simultaneous camera feeds, and then you get assigned a person. So that you walk. So I don't know if you've heard of this. We'll go over it real quick because I want to talk about some other stuff with this. So the Amazon stores where you literally walk in, you sign in with your Amazon account, you put things in your basket, and you walk out. No cashier, no checkout, no nothing. You just leave. And it was an AI thing that they said it's AI, it's AI. And you're like, yeah, no, it wasn't. It was actually 1,000 people in a warehouse watching you over security videos. And then because, I mean, I went into one of these once. I went into one, I can't for the life of me remember if it was in Sacramento or San Francisco. I know that's ridiculous, but I can't remember where it was, if it was the one in San Francisco. But I went into one of the stores, and when you walk in, you sign in with your phone, and I grabbed like maybe 2 or 3 items, like, $15 worth of stuff. And then as you're on your way out, it says it'll show up in your account in like 5 to 7 hours or something like that. And I'm like, so this thing's scanning my stuff live, charging me live, but then it's going to show up 7 hours later. And so I had my bank account that was signed up with my Amazon account. And as I walked out the door, I was kind of watching to see if that, like $17 had been taken out of my account. And it hadn't. And it still hadn't. And it still hadn't. It was like 6 hours later, it finally got run. And then it showed up in my Amazon account. I was like, okay, that's really weird. Come to find out, that's because those people that are working in some warehouse somewhere halfway around the world had to watch my video, watch what I did, watch what I took off the shelf, what I actually walked out with, and then went around and charged my Amazon account and actually set it up and put it into my account and then charge my card. It's super weird, right? That's super weird. And it's this fake front of having AI. And now, because if you look at, and again, I'm not a financial person, but I'm not going to get into this super crazy, but if you look at the stock market, even a non-financial person can see the stock market's going nuts. And if you look at like the last 6 companies like Microsoft and Nvidia and a couple of these other ones that are using AI in part of their stuff right now, those companies have gone up through the roof. And you're sitting there going, okay, well, what about also like Reddit? Reddit.com, when you look at its usership and the amount of queries, it's been pretty steady at like, millions and millions of queries. And then all of a sudden it went up about 16 months ago to 500%. 500% of what it was when everyone was already on it. So you're like, what happened there? And it was obviously right before they went to an IPO and right before the owner sold off 500,000 shares of it, right? To make themselves millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. So you're like, what is going on? It's like, well, AI is using a lot of current day things online to power itself, right? So if you go onto Google right now and you do a search for, places to visit in Las Vegas, top 20 places to visit in Las Vegas, and you do that search, instead of giving you a list of websites that have articles that people have written about 20 places to go in Las Vegas, 10 places to go in Las Vegas or whatever, you'll get, at the very top, you'll get an AI prompt that will basically answer your question with like a list of things, like you ask ChatGPT or something. The second thing will be an ad of things in Las Vegas, which will be probably 3 or 4 links. The next thing after that most likely will be suggested links, which are also paid to be put there. And then about 3/4 of the page down, you'll actually get your first website result. And that's what Google's turned into. Now, if you take what's in that AI result and go and find the article basically that is being pulled from, you'll find that the AI stuff is reading articles, which is what it's designed to do, and then stealing that information and putting it and displaying it as its own, right? So you would go, like, where do I want to go and visit in Las Vegas? And you go, okay. And it says, one of the best places where you can go is this like ghost town thing. And you go, okay, well, found it. You go off and you find the article, and you find an article that was written by this dude in this small little newspaper thing in Vegas, and he put an article out online about the 20 places to go and visit in Vegas, and one of them the top one is that ghost town. And then you start going and go, okay. And I watched a video of this guy doing this, and he was like, this is where this is being pulled from. He's like, and then the AI will give you information from the article, whether it's good or not. So let's say this article that it was pulled from was written like 6 years ago. So this information theoretically is 6 years old. It said that the ghost town was about 45 minutes away from Las Vegas, or from downtown Las Vegas. And then, and then you go, okay, but if you go and do that lookup, the roads have changed because they've done some more development stuff and something happened to that road and they have a new road, and the new road actually takes you out like an extra 6 miles or something. There's no direct route like there was. You have to go like around this thing and now go back. So now instead of it being like the 45 minutes, it's now like, 55, 60 or 70 minutes and has a further distance to go. But yet the article or the AI is saying that it's 45 minutes because it's saying that that's what the article said, which also said 45 minutes. So it's the AI learning from articles and things that are online to then give you human-like responses, like you're talking to a human being, but the data that it's being pulled from could be from anything. So so Amazon was screwing around with this. Google had something called Gemini, and Gemini was a piece of software that they were touting it was great for introverts, and it was all about basically making a phone call for you. And you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Like I don't want to call and order food. It's just, I don't like doing that. It's something I just get like, I'm going to screw. I mean, even though I worked at a pizza kitchen for years, I just don't like calling and ordering food. I flub over my words and whatever. And anyway, it doesn't really matter. So this company or this product, Gemini, was designed by Google. And what the idea was, you could then put in a prompt or have it call like a restaurant and say, okay, well, I want to set a reservation for, 6 o'clock on Wednesday or something like that. So then you put it into Gemini, and Gemini would then make a phone call. The person on the other end answers, hello, this is so-and-so restaurant. How can I help you? That Gemini then answers, hello, I'd like to make a reservation for Wednesday at 6 o'clock for, is there any of those available? And the person goes, okay, hold on a second. And the AI responds, okay, no problem. And like talks like a human back and forth. And so this also turned out to be a giant sham. It was them using their voice prompts. They did like 500 different prompts or whatever, and 20 of them worked. And so they hobbled together a video that had those 20 working in an order that made it look like it was a cohesive product that was convincingly talking to a restaurant. And it was just a fake. And when they did that, their stock prices went up, and And meanwhile, it's like $1 million to go buy some milk. There's so like this AI stuff right now that everyone is jumping onto. Everyone who's calling themselves AI companies and making money and getting money from all this stuff, when a lot of it's finding out to just be sham shows. Some of it, there's AI is very powerful. And there's a lot of cool stuff that AI can do, but right now it's very stupid and does some very rudimentary things. And if you spend any time on ChatGPT, you've seen that as well. You'll get repeated questions or repeated answers. You'll get things that aren't exactly complete, or you'll be missing something. Or sometimes you'll get a great answer out of it, and that's fine. It's only in its infancy, and it's only going to get better. And then I saw another thing where this girl had, she posted a bunch of videos on TikTok or whatever, and one of the videos was her sitting in her bedroom in a very specific outfit that she had or whatever in her old apartment a couple years ago, and she was talking about some traumatic event that happened that gained a lot of traction on social media, so it had a lot of views. So she goes on a honeymoon or something. She comes back 3 weeks later, gets to her phone, and there's all these messages from her friends saying, hey, did you do an erectile dysfunction ad? And she's like, what? And they sent her the video of this ad, and it's her sitting in her old, apartment in that outfit with a clearly redone mouth and a different voice on her face, talking and selling this ED prescription medication for like 3 minutes. And it's like this whole video about her doing this. And it's her. It looks, she's got these crazy, her eyes are a little bigger, a little wider or something. She's a distinct looking human. And it's her. It's absolutely her. And some company stole her likeness and is using it as an AI, thing. And we heard about the thing is also with there was Tom Hanks was selling some home insurance thing or something. He's like, I don't have anything to do with home insurance. There's likenesses being taken. And of course, the things that we see for the ex-president or whatever, there's all these, there's some pretty funny ones out there of him talking about how excited he is about going to jail and stuff, things like that. So there's poking fun stuff, and then there's some serious stuff that's like, whoa, this is not great. So I don't know. They're calling this Amazon thing this dystopian retail. The thing that went weird was right as people found out, like there was a news organization that found out about Amazon and their fakeness with their AI. So right before the article came out, they announced that they were closing the stores down, but they were going to switch it to this special basket, and the basket had like a scanner in it or something like that. And then it was also right before some other stock thing happened, and they sold a whole bunch of stock and made a whole bunch of money or some buyback thing or something. I don't know, some illegal thing that should be illegal that's not illegal, and that I don't understand. And so it's just, it's a front to make it look like we are the latest and greatest and we're doing everything that we should be doing and it's awesome and look at all this technology, and you're like, dude, there was no technology in that. It was a bunch of people watching webcams and lying. Or it's just like those little robots that drove around LA or whatever delivering food, that are autonomous or whatever. It's not someone. It's a human being driving the thing halfway around the world, like with a little remote control. There was another one too, the Xomi, XOMAI or something like that. So it's a car company in China, and they were showing about how like the self-driving stuff works in China, and it was like just the way that everything, like this guy was driving along, and then a truck pulled out in the middle of the road and just stayed there, and the car like kind of stood there for a second and then kind of inched up a little bit, and then it like backed up and did like a 20-point turn and then went around the block and went someplace else. And you're like, and just the way that it worked and the way that it moved, you're like, okay, pretty sure that's a human being on the other side controlling that car and not the actual AI or all the sensors and stuff driving it around, because it made some very specific moves and went into specific places and went in a specific way that I was like, I don't know if that would have really been decided by the car. It might have been, but it looked like it wasn't. So it's I don't know, just AI is really cool and it's real, but there's a lot of companies trying to throw like some shim sham stuff, and everybody's adopting it way too quick. So you'll see Microsoft Copilot coming up pretty soon. Siri evidently is going to come up with something pretty soon in iOS 18. Microsoft has already done their Copilot stuff, which kind of sucks, and it's based on Bing, which Bing is based on OpenAI. So I don't know. There's a lot of people making a lot of money, and it's not like great out there right now, I don't think so. Anyway, so let me see if we got anything else on here. We also talked about last week about Microsoft's ARM processor, that new processor that's going to be kind of competing against Apple's M3 processor, and that's really interesting to see if that's going to come out. We still here? Oh, just had a power outage. All right, we still broadcasting? I think we're still broadcasting. Let's see. Not really sure. Cool. Well, I guess the powers that be heard me talking about Amazon and Apple and decided to cut power to the building. That makes sense. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, we're back. Oh, wow. All right. Can you hear me, everybody? Wow. All right. I think we are still online. I think so. Yeah, find out. Let's see. So anyway, moving along. That was amazing. The power went out and came back. Is it windy out there? Is it a storm right now? That's interesting. That's really weird. Whoop. Woo! We are flickering here. Hold on a second. What is going on? Wow. That is nuts. So even things happen crazy at the Computer Man Show here. You know what we're gonna do? We still got 5 minutes. We're gonna keep going and see what's going on, because the building is a cooking. All right, let's see. Okay, we're back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Here we are. All right, looks like all of our uninterruptible power supplies, and that's exactly why you want an uninterruptible power supply. Right there. It was a perfect reason, because if you get a power outage like that, you can find out and you get it and it comes right back on. We got a caller calling in. Let's see if that's somebody just checking on to see if the shop is still running or see if they have a question. Let's see what's going on in the real world. Hello, you're on with the Computer Man. How can I help you? Do I have you? Hello? Hello, hello? I don't hear it coming through here, so maybe give me a call back if you can. 831-900-5773. Let's see if we can give you a call. But yeah, so, the world as it is very odd, as we know, and as we've learned through the world of computing, etc. Ooh, let's try to see if they're calling back. Let's see if we can try one more time. Hello, you're on with the Computer Man. How can I help you? No? Don't think so. Okay, phone lines aren't working there, so I can't get in here. Okay, that's cool. So anyway... let's see if we've got anything else. We were talking about ARM processors before the world started flickering. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting with this new processor, because right now Intel's running everything, right? Intel or AMD, and those are the main processors we've had for 30 years, ever since I was a little kid building computers, right? Like, this is all we've had. And so now we're going over to Qualcomm. Qualcomm's gonna be making the Snapdragon X Elite processor. It's like, okay, and they're gonna be running. I mean, it's just interesting. I'm curious if Intel's going. So are we not making chips anymore? Are they not buying the chips anymore? Because Intel was selling chips to everybody, including Apple and PCs. And then Apple stopped buying them because they make their own chips now, the M2 chips, M3 chips, M1 chips. And now Microsoft's going to an ARM processor. Not really sure what's going on. It is not Mercury in retrograde. What are you talking about? Anyway, so moving along with the power and physics that work with electrons, etc., that are flowing through our boards right now. Perfect time. Jump on KSQD and ksqd.org to hit that donate button. Make sure our power doesn't go out. That's right. Hit that donate button and we'll still broadcast. That's right. Okay, so anyway, moving on, I've got this. We talked about this Tesla scam that was really specific. So and then also we talked last week about also the Windows 10 updates and how much the extended security updates are going to cost. If you want to continue on from Windows 10, they're going to cost a lot. It's going to be, for the first year, it's going to be $61, then $222, and then $244. And if you sign up in the third year, you have to pay the $122 plus the $244 plus the $61 altogether. Sucks. Okay, well, let's get into, we have a couple minutes before the break. Let's see if there's anything else I want to talk about in our scam section. Let's see. Okay, just another one, just right before we go to break. I know we talk about this all the time, but I'm just going to do another reminder. I had one of my awesome clients that comes in that I see quite often with great questions, fantastic questions. And she came in and she basically, she's like, blah, 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 I was doing this thing, and something happened. I went to a wrong website. It flashed a number on the screen, and I went, oh, no. I'm like, you didn't call the number, did you? And she goes, I did. I didn't want to bother you. And I hear that. I hear that a lot. I would rather you bother me, especially at work. You can bother me. You're not calling me at home. You're not knocking on my door or something. I'm at work. That's where I'm at. Or email. Call me. Write me. Email me. Text me. Fax me. Something. Please do not call the phone numbers if you go to go to a website and it says, oh, you need to take care of this. Your computer is this, that, and the other. No website's going to tell you that. They're just not going to tell you that. Without a computer piece of software running a scan, it's very unlikely. And then, of course, the person, this loving customer, then let the human take control of their computer and started doing things. Now, they kind of started feeling a little weird, didn't like it, and so they just held the power button down on the computer and shut it off, which I think is great. That's probably a little dangerous to do, not because of the person interaction stuff, but just because software is running and you don't know, hopefully the computer comes back and doesn't have an error. But it's, I just... Now, because then at the end point, then they still had to come back to me, right? So they didn't want to bother me. They felt they were going to bother me with it. But now their computer's messed up, so they have to come to me anyways. And now I've got to fix it, and now they got to pay me. When all in all, if they just wrote me and said, "Hey, I got this thing. I went to this website, and it said this. What do I do?" And I go, "Nothing. You close the website. Go away from it. Shut down the computer. Do anything but call that number." As you were then calling the criminals and saying, hey guys, I'm going to the airport. I'm off on my trip. I'm going to be gone for 2.5 weeks. There's a key under the mat. Peace. Right? That's like what you're doing. So don't do that if you can. Call me, 831-900-5773. Call me at the shop at Pleasure Point Computers. Email me, Luigi at ksqd.org. Just don't call the number on that screen, please. Okay. Bad stuff. Okay, well, we're about halfway through here on the Computer Man Show here on KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT Prunedale, 89.5, 89.7, and 90.7 FM, and always online at ksqd.org. We're going to play just a few underwritings real quick, and we'll get back to it on the Computer Man Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be literally right back.
Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on KSQD 90.7 FM, you'll find me, Dr. Dawn Motika, ready to respond to your calls and emails on health and medical science topics and issues. We cover medical breakthroughs and medical breakdowns. As an expert in alternative and complementary medicine as well, I bring a lifetime of experience and compassion to our mutual dialogue. Please join the discussion Wednesday night at 6 p.m. on KSQD. Don't Google your symptoms. Ask Dr. Dawn.
Support for KSQD comes from the Monterey Bay Air Resources District. The Wood Stove Changeout Program now offers higher incentives for Santa Cruz, Monterey, and San Benito County residents to switch to cleaner home heating alternatives. Details at MontereyBayCleanAir.org. That's MontereyBayCleanAir.org. Thank you, MBARD, for supporting community radio K-Squid.
I'm a computer man.
My name is Luigi Ovido, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers and the host of The Computer Man Show, a 1-hour call-in show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Viruses, slowdowns, scams, and updates. Computers can be a pain, and I'll help you through it.
Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer.
If it has an on switch, we'll probably talk about it on The Computer Man Show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. only on KSQD 90.7 FM Santa Cruz.
Get into a computer. Hi, I'm Bobby Bishop, host of Be in the Night, bringing you the best I can with jazz, love songs, and soul. Join me on Tuesday evenings from 7 to 10 p.m., playing the classics straight ahead and introducing you to the latest artists and composers. That's Tuesday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. right here on listener-supported KSQD 90.7 FM, Santa Cruz.
I love some jazz, and jazz will be coming in just a little bit, about 30 minutes from now. And Bobby B and B in the Night's going to be coming rolling through the studio here and going to be serenading you for the rest of the evening with some awesome jazz. And if you missed it tonight, you can always check it out on ksqd.org later under our listening tab, or tune in tomorrow night for some more jazz at 7 o'clock, as well as Thursday night. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights are jazz nights here on KSQD Santa Cruz, and they're awesome. There's some great music coming out, great curators, great people, and a lot of talent, both in the music and the people behind the mic. So stick around. Bobby B in the Night starting off the week here on Tuesday night here at 7 o'clock, and I wouldn't miss it, and I don't think you should either. So welcome back to the Computer Man Show here on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 90.7 FM and KSQD.org. Let's get into some of these email questions. I've got, what is this, like a 15-page packet? How many pages is this? Wow. Okay. All right, let's get into it. All right, remotely resetting a Windows PC. My PC is connected to a UPS, which is an uninterruptible power supply, but its battery is shot on the power supply. So occasionally power spikes cause my PC to shut off. That's weird. So the issue is that it tries to power on by itself immediately, but it gets stuck in kind of a limbo state that needs to reset, that then needs the reset button to be pressed or the PSU to be power cycled. Okay. This usually is not a hindrance to my daily use, but me and my whole family are going to be going to traveling until the end of next week, and I need to be able to access the desktop whenever I need. Is there a way to keep the PC fully off and then remote start it using the phone, or hit the reset button quickly using your phone? Okay, so I thought about this. I'm like, the quickest thing that you would be able to do to get that machine kind of running with you while you're gone, especially if it's set up that way. It sounds like your BIOS is set up to restore power on a power outage, right? So if the power goes out and the power turns back on, your computer should turn on when it gets power again. So why don't we fake a power outage by putting a smart plug? One of those little plugs that plugs into the wall, and then you plug your unit into it, and then it connects over Wi-Fi to your phone. And from that, well, that was weird. And then from that, sorry, it just popped in my ears there real quick. Everything okay? We still broadcasting? Okay, good. I think we're good. And then with the smart plug, then you turn your phone and it would cut power to the plug, which would cut power to the computer. And then you hit the power button again on your phone, which would then energize the plug, which would energize the computer, which the computer would see that as a power outage restoration. And from the restoration, you would then be able to fire the machine up. I think that would work for you, I believe. You have to make sure, of course, that the setting for power on after power outage is enabled. I think it's called like automatically turn on the PC when power returns or something like that. It'll have a different wording depending on your manufacturer. But with that, it sounds like from the description of what you're talking about and how things are already working, it kind of does that already. But when the PC's stuck, you just hit the power button on your phone. It'll kill it. Turn the power button back on, the machine will fire up, it'll count as a power outage, and off you go. I had a machine back in the day that used to blue screen like that, and I'd have to turn it off and turn it back on again. And it was a really easy way of just cutting power without climbing underneath the desk. So my thing was just pure laziness, but yours would actually work for, function. So look at that. Okay, next one here. Can I use a 20-watt charger on a 15-watt phone? I have a Motorola G Play 2024. I've seen mixed things online about which charger to use. Right now I have a 10-watt charging brick on the cord that came with the device. Not sure of the wattage. The cords don't have wattages. They have ratings based on the thickness of the cable, but they usually don't give like a wattage rating on the cables. Usually, it's not like on the box or something. Let's see. So, but it's not charging correctly. I say, okay. The only charging options I see are 20 watts and 18 watts, but I don't want to damage my phone or the battery. I've seen posts from people with the same phone saying they bought a 20 watt and the charging worked, but other comments saying not to use a higher wattage when the phone recommends over time it'll weaken or damage the battery. Okay, so first of all, that's bupkis. That's bull. That's not true. I've also seen posts saying the only thing that matters is the voltage on the phone and charger, that they're the same, and that the wattage doesn't matter at all, but just want to make sure. Okay, so first of all, the wattage. When you see a wattage on a charger, right, we're talking about the thing that plugs into the wall. The charger wattage is its max. That's the maximum amount of, let's say, water pressure the thing's putting out, right? Water pressure would be the electricity. So it's like, you're turning your hose on maximum. As soon as your hose is all the way on, there's not more water you can somehow turn it on more, right? It's on. It's 100%. That's what it is. So at these with a charger, a 20 watt charger is 20 watts. If you have a 10 watt phone plugged into a 20 watt charger, the 10 watt phone will only charge at 10 watts because that's what it's designed to do. If you plug in a 20 watt phone into a 10 watt charger, you will be limited down to the lower number, down to the 10 watts, because the charger cannot physically supply more wattage than that. It's kind of limited. It's as good as your weakest link right there. So the smaller amount would be the smaller charging amount, which would be the amount that you would get. And it wouldn't damage the device. The phone has a very smart charging circuit built into it, and so it's going to see whatever it is, and it's going to throttle that voltage coming into your phone based on that. So that's one of the things that's really nice is the charging circuit that's in a lot of these devices. But the only thing it's going to be is going to be a little bit slower. Like right now, you're kind of experiencing that. You have a 10 watt charging brick. 10 watt charging brick and the 15 watt phone. So the phone can take a lot more. And it's the same thing when I plug my phone into a really weak charger, in my car or something, and it's like, oh, it doesn't charge very well. But then if I bring my 3 amp charger and I plug it in, boom, it's really pushing that, the amperage, really pushing that pressure into the phone and does it a little bit better. So, so the wattage of the charger is the maximum it can supply, not what it will supply. So if you have, again, 20 watts on the charger, 10 watts on the phone, you're going to get 10 watts total. That's what it's going to be. So that's a great question, though. Okay, another one. Drop my phone in water. How long do I have? While on a hike, my phone got soaked. It was in my bag with where the rain creeped in and soaked it, likely for a few hours before I found it. I shook it out extensively and left it in an open window for airflow, but it won't turn on. Any hope? Well, I don't know. That's not great, because if you had the phone and you have a current day phone, that means that the battery is always connected. If the battery is always connected, there's voltage flowing through it, and when you get something wet, if the water gets into it, it will touch something that's energized and zap it, right? That's so like if you have like a flash drive, like I have washed this one flash drive I have maybe 3 or 4 times by accident, not on purpose, but by accident, and it's a flash drive I use. And I don't use it. Actually, I don't use that one anymore, because after the third washing, I think I was like, okay, I'm pushing my luck really bad. Anyway, so I washed it and it got wet. And oh gosh, it's all wet. But there's not a battery in it. There's no power in it. It just got wet, right? It's like I don't even know an analogy. It's just like anyways, doesn't matter. So it got wet. It's not a big. Well, let me see. So I can't really remember where I was going with that. Sorry. There's so many things going on here. So if all is well, we're all broadcasting, everything's great, but I keep getting flickering lights. It's like a test or something to see if I can keep my thoughts on track. And the phone is ringing, but I don't think the phone mux is working in the other room. So we might be able to take phone calls. I'm not really sure. Let's try something real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try something. I'm going to try answering the phone and see if we can get this to go on, and see if we can cut it to come on through everything. Let's see. Hello, you're on with the Computer Man. Can I help you? Do I hear you? So I've got you here on the phone. Okay, we're going to do something funny here. Watch this. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put you... Okay. Hello, I've got you on the Computer Man. How can I help you?
Okay, hey, good. I wanted to thank you today for alerting us that there was a power brick in that Gen 3 Starlink system.
Okay.
Guess what?
Did you find...
It's been found.
Okay, so there was so we got a call earlier today about a Gen 3 Starlink system, and the Gen 3 Starlink system didn't have the necessary things to power it up, but you found it?
Yes.
Awesome. Was it hidden someplace secretive in the box in their fancy packaging or something?
No, it was just a little memory lapse of somebody had already opened the box before.
Ah.
It was stashed elsewhere.
I see. Okay.
Wow. And you wouldn't believe this, but a bird just flew by and dropped something on my windshield. I'm sitting on the side of the road.
Oh my gosh. That's a good omen or something, or maybe possibly.
Only on the Computer Man show.
Awesome, Ray, man. Well, I appreciate the call, dude. That's really cool. I'm glad that that's working out for you.
Yeah, appreciate you. We wouldn't have known if it wasn't for you doing the research.
Far out, dude. All right, man. Well, then we'll talk to you real soon. Any other questions going on?
Not right at the moment.
Okay. Well, keep on, man, and keep doing what you do, and we'll keep that Maca coming too as well.
Yeah, right on. Thanks a lot.
All right, man. Thanks for the call. All right, take care. At least the phone line's open for you here at 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD. So it sounds like what's going on is I can actually receive a phone call, and I can get the phone call in, and it actually broadcasts back out to the radio, but I can't hear it in my headphones. So that's interesting. So something must be restarted or set up in the back that I'm not seeing. So, but I'm sitting here, and we're here. So I got about another, about 15 minutes or so in the show. Let's continue on with our email questions here. Let's see. Oh, the water thing. Okay, drop my phone in water. How long do I have? And we were talking. Okay, so anyway, so this person has their water, and you can't remove the battery, right? Can't remove the battery. So if you have something that gets fried, right? Like while it's on, and you can't remove the battery from it, you're kind of done. Oh, I was talking about my flash drive. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Okay, so I washed this flash drive, right? Washed it, but there's no battery inside. There's nothing powering the flash drive. It gets powered when you plug into USB. So when I washed it, I went, oh man. Even a lot of things, if they're off completely and they have a battery connected, you're probably still okay, depending on how much energy is still flowing through the circuit. So wash this flash drive, let it sit on my windowsill for like a week, plug it back in, it's fine. Totally fine, because when it got energized, it was dry. There might be a little bit of corrosion on it, but I got my data off and stopped using it after like that third time I did that. So I also went and looked up, I'm like, and because I've heard of, like water cooling, but like water cooling, like actual water, like mineral water, that like the machines are soaked in mineral water, like the water's poured onto the actual circuit board. And I started reading about it. I'm like, so when you get doused with like rainwater and stuff, like, why would that short a phone out if there's all these other mineral waters and stuff that will actually cause the machines to like run nice and cool, and they can be immersed in them. And so it's not actually the water that shorts out your phone. It's not the water that's the conductive part. It's the added impurities in the water that actually act as a conductive source. And then if the water's properly purified, you can actually use it as an insulator, and it works well for cooling. So it's just the fact that we have stuff in the water, minerals and things like that, that are the actual conductive components of the water and not the water itself, which is actually kind of interesting. So saw that, and I was like, oh, that's a nerd thing. I'm going to read that on the show. Okay, let's move along from that. But yeah, how long do you have? If the phone's been dropped in water and you already tried turning it on and it doesn't turn on, I let it dry a little bit longer, but I don't think it's going to be good. I don't think it's going to turn on. I think you're already done. Unfortunately, yeah. Okay, Windows Defender found Trojan Win32 ACLL and removed it. Am I safe now? Accidentally authorized as an administrator a file with a Trojan, but Windows Defender apparently removed it and blocked it. Is my PC safe? Okay, they said they did an offline scan as well as a full scan with Windows Defender. Good. So there's no threats. That's excellent. Same with Malwarebytes. Excellent. Good job with Malwarebytes. I know it's dumb to authorize admin access to it, but I initially got the link from a friend, so I trusted it, and then I just realized it was an actual virus when Windows Defender told me to get rid of it. The only file I installed and gave admin access to was an exe called setup install 1.0.0. The only weird changes I noticed were a new administrator was on there and the trusted installer as an admin, but after an hour or two, it disappeared. Okay. And what they did to maybe get rid of it, updated Windows, deleted a download file, uninstalled the unfamiliar app and control panel, removed temporary files, great, checked Chrome extensions, updated my BIOS, probably they said they didn't know. I'm paranoid, but I don't want to reset my PC. I'm like, okay, you ran Malwarebytes. That was kind of like my first thing that I would run. Everything you did sounds great. I don't think it's on there. I don't think it's anything is going on. You check your processes. The only thing I would also check is maybe your msconfig, the boot up sequence of the machine. If you go and hit the Windows R for the run dialog box and then type in msconfig, msconfig. msconfig, hit enter. That's going to take you to the startup tab, and you can see if any software is on there, as well as going to the services, hiding all the Microsoft services and looking for any services that might be running in the background that could be something malicious. Now, granted, you're going to look through and be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what any of this stuff is or half this stuff is, and you're going to want to just look for any type of weird company names or missing company names or anything like that. And if you don't see anything like that, or if you're not sure how to get there or how to do that, it sounds like you're pretty astute, but if you don't really know how to get in there, enlist your local computer shop, maybe Pleasure Point Computers, and we can help you out with that and take a look at it for you and see if any malicious software is in there. But as far as I'm concerned, from what you've done, that's fantastic, and I don't think anything's on there. I think you started running the software, you stopped it, got rid of the thing that was in there, deleted the file, ran a scan, got rid of anything it found. I think you're good. I think you're good. Okay. Ooh, spy cam on my Wi-Fi. Okay, spy cam on my Wi-Fi. I recently found a device connected to my Wi-Fi. Let's see. With the host name WiwaCam 1057010 or whatever. Look this up, and sure enough, it's a spy camera. Already know what it's doing. I already know who is doing it. Oh, woo! But I can't find it. I've looked all over the bathroom. I'm guessing that's where one's located. But there's a way I can get into the camera feed so I can find out where it's hidden. I've looked in the fan, the vents, and no new things are put in the room that I've noticed. I'm at a loss of how to find it. Okay, so you said you had the host name. If you have a host name, there's going to be an IP attached, an IP number. Type that IP number right into that www.whatever.com spot on your browser. Type that in, and it should work. Also, if you do you might be able to also find it in an Explorer. If you do the /WiwaCam 1058010, the number that you gave us, minus the brackets in the File Explorer, and it'll pull up a network share of recordings. But when you do the IP address first, when you type it into a website, it might ask you for a username and password. I would go online, look for the default username and password, and see if it's been reset. But they also have sometimes they have a Find It tool as well that will search the local network for the device if you can't find the IP address. But also, this is something that we do here at the shop. I actually go out to people's homes and I do kind of like a level 1 base scan of their home to see if I find any type of erroneous signals, any type of erroneous Wi-Fi devices, any type of erroneous anything that's on the network that shouldn't be there, including cameras or listening devices, etc. But if you find the IP of the device in your router or in your modem, paste that into your web browser and see if it loads that HTML interface to see. Going to the manufacturer's website, it looks like they make a bunch of creepy alarm clocks. So you might be able to actually use your mobile phone and do the whole thing where you look around with your phone. And that's just turning on your camera on low light. So to turn all the lights off, turn your camera on, and start scanning the walls and see if you see a tiny red LED or a tiny red amount of infrared. Infrared's not visible by the human eye, but it is visible by your telephone camera. Now, some of the cameras don't put out infrared. They just have a lens. They just have their camera signal. So in that case, I actually have a little thing that you hold in your hand and you push a button on the backside. And so it's like it looks like about like if you were holding on to like half of an ice cream bar or something, let's say, right? Like a long ice cream bar, like almost like a thick like a pen or something, like one of those really thick carnival pens or something. And then at the end of it, it's got a little red membrane, like a little red cellophane membrane. And on the back side, it's got a bunch of red LEDs. You hit a button and it blinks those LEDs like blink, 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 about that fast. So what you do is you hold it up to your eyes, you look through that red cellophane, you turn off the lights in the room, you look through the red cellophane, and you hit the button so it blinks. And so theoretically, that blinking is going to reflect off of one of the hidden camera's lenses. That's maybe in your wall, maybe in a smoke detector, in a mirror, in a vanity, in a vent, wherever it could be. And it will shine, and then you'll be able to see it. That's another idea as well. So there's either ones that emit infrared light, which your camera would be able to see, kind of like holding up an old school VCR remote to your camera, if you've ever done that, or if you've ever taken an old camcorder and you're filming someone and someone points like a remote control at you and turns the remote control on, you can see the infrared light blinking out of the remote control. When you look at it with your eyes, you can't see anything, and so it picks up on that infrared light. So also super nerdy thing to be able to do, but if you're curious, grab your cell phone, grab your remote control from your television set and put it up to your phone. You'll be able to see that thing blinking, and that's a way you can tell LEDs work. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what that finds, what you find, but also they some of them are designed to be invisible to smartphone cameras. So again, you might that blinky light thing might happen, or give me a call at the shop and we can help you out too, at least give you in the right direction. Okay, so here's another one. It says, my girlfriend's computer breaks the internet when she turns it on. Okay. So let's see. Girlfriend breaks the internet when she turns it on. Her household internet is perfectly fine any other time. Starting yesterday, my girlfriend's PC, which is a iBuyPower custom desktop thing from Costco. Okay, cool. We'll turn the internet. Will cause the internet to swing between disconnecting and being very, very slow. Turning it off, everything goes back to normal speeds and everything's fine. The PC connected to the box via Ethernet. So connected to box via okay, so I assume connected like the router or whatever via Ethernet. We have tried the following: restarting the router, restarting the PC, moving it to another outlet. I assume that's a power outlet. Watching any programs, eating all the network on Task Manager, didn't see anything out of ordinary. Checking Xfinity for any notifications about maintenance or outages, which wouldn't make any sense if that computer turns off and everything comes back. Updating Windows, it was up to date. And touching the power block adapter thing on the monitor power cable. Saw an older post online that this caused a similar issue. Okay, that's weird. That was just a grounding thing, I think. Okay, so with this, there's a few things that could be causing it. First of all, it's killing the internet for everything. Something is backfeeding into the router. Something is sending a transmit signal over the receive, or something is sending a receiver over the transmit, and there are multiple collisions, which is causing the entire internet to come to a grinding halt, right? So why? What would that do? If you had, or what would do that? If you have a machine that's plugged, I see you didn't change your Ethernet cable. Your Ethernet cable could have two of the lines crossed, and you could be getting incredible amounts of crosstalk, which would cause incredible amounts of collisions, which would cause incredible amounts of stoppage, and just bring everything to a complete halt. I'd be really curious if it was, at this point, I think it's either, some people would say, oh, it's probably an IP conflict. Right? If it's an IP conflict, your machine wouldn't go online and everything else would stay online. IP conflicts don't knock out networks. IP conflicts just cause the one device to not sign on. That's all that does. So I don't think it's an IP conflict. You could run the network troubleshooter, which would also kind of do some release renew stuff and ask for a new IP address. I'd be curious if you're on a static IP address with this machine. If you are, we would change it to dynamic, and most likely that would solve it. But I think it's a hardware thing. I think it's either your cable, something's weird in your cable. I think something might be weird in your network card, or you might have a weird driver in your network card. The solution to this would be to not use that network card and try something else and see if the problem goes away. If you can take that same computer and plug in a USB wireless card and try to go online with wireless, and it works just fine, and you plug the Ethernet cord back into the Ethernet and it kills everything, you're like, okay. I'd switch the cable out if that doesn't do it. Okay. I'd get another Ethernet card if I can, try plugging that in and see if it works. But at that point, then it's most likely the card. It's most likely the card or the cable or some piece of hardware that's stopping that connection from coming through. I don't think it's any type of IP conflict, because the IP conflict wouldn't just knock out everything. It would just make that one machine not work. And I've seen something like this before. I went to a company that actually had kind of the same thing. They had this one dude would walk in the office, and as soon as the dude would show up, the internet would die for the entire office. And you're like, how is that possible? How is it possible that dude walking in kills the internet? Like some people have amazing personalities and stuff, and they can kill a room, but can they kill the internet just by walking in? I don't know. So found out that after talking to the dude, he was a little dismissive and stuff, because like, I'm not doing anything, blah, blah, blah. That turns out that at his desk, he found an Ethernet port on the ground, and he had a little streaming device that he was listening to music with a headphone on, that he wasn't supposed to listen to music at work or something. And so he didn't tell anybody about it, but he would plug this device in via Ethernet into the node down there and listen to his music. Put on his headphones, internet would die for everybody else, and he's on there doing other things or not online, and he doesn't realize it, and he's killed the internet for the entire office. But that thing had a loopback that was pushing back the wrong signal through the wrong part of the Ethernet cord, therefore causing the entire network to drop, because it was getting this crazy signal coming down one of the pipes, and it was trying to work on that and couldn't work on it, and took all the processing power away from everything else. Super weird, but it happens. So again, I think this is hardware. I don't think it's anything with the IP conflict or anything like that. I don't think it has anything to do with checking Xfinity or about notifications. I mean, it's not some coincidence that Xfinity is dropping the same time the computer is being plugged in or turned on. So yeah. Okay, another one here in the last 5 minutes or less. Is there a way to find a dead phone's location? So the day before yesterday, I lost my phone. I supposedly have it at home since I last texted my friend on the day around 7-ish p.m., and I didn't leave the house after. Oh, okay. I went back later around 10-ish to find my phone, but I couldn't find it. I guess it was just hiding somewhere, and decided to continue to search in the morning. The next day, I had a frozen round for the night, so I didn't really bother finding it. I don't know what that means. Now today, my family and I have searched the entire house, but the phone is nowhere. It's dead, so there's no way to call it. Is there any ideas on getting the exact location? Okay, first of all, I want to know what kind of phone is it. Is it an iPhone or is it an Android phone? Because we're going to go two different ways depending on what it is. If it's an Android phone, Android by default logs every single location you've ever been, ever, and the timestamp. it's creepy, super creepy, but that's its default on setting. So if you were to go onto your Google account, look at your location history, you'd be able to go back and see exactly where the phone was, including someplace in your house. Be able to zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. And if it's an Apple, you can go to Find My iPhone or Find My feature, and you can zoom in and see where the phone last was. It'll broadcast a signal the last time. Also, if you use Find My iPhone for Android, it also would confirm its last location before shutting down. But what I can do with my Find My iPhone thing is I can, when I click on it, I can see my phone's at my house. But then I can zoom into that map a little bit more, and I can see my house isn't very big, and I can see it's on like the left-hand corner opposed to the right-hand corner. I'm like, oh, that's that corner over there, that's my bedroom, and that corner over there is the family room. So I'm like, so it must have been in my bedroom somewhere, and I can kind of hone in on it a little bit better, even though it's off or something, right? Yeah, it's. It's one of those things like, do I tell you a little more about that, or do I start offering ideas of where it could be? My famous thing is it slipping into a trash can. And I've had more things where it slips into the trash can, falls off my desk or something, but your phone probably would have made a pretty distinct noise falling into a trash can, I would think. But then, it's... just thinking of random thoughts for locations at this point. So I would check Find My, both Find My iPhone or Find My phone in Android. And if it's an Android, again, take a look at your location history and see where it was last, and see if maybe you can kind of hone in on that as well. Okay, so last 2 minutes, we'll do this one. This one's really good. I haven't had Wi-Fi at my home for over a year now. It says, does anyone know how I can get Wi-Fi for just a month, or if cheap for longer? I assume when you say Wi-Fi, you mean internet. So you don't have any internet at your home, like any internet connection at all. I need to do schoolwork, and I can't go to the library or cafe since I'm a caretaker. I heard that about a male celebrity that had a cheap internet company, but I don't remember. That's most likely Ryan Reynolds talking about Mint Mobile. And they do have cheap, inexpensive phones, like $45 a month or something like that. But the data caps on the on tethering is only at like 10 gigs. So you'd use it for a little while, and then it would stop, and you have to wait until the next month. But T-Mobile has a 5G LTE home internet. It's $55 a month, and it's no contract, just month to month. It's faster than a hotspot, can handle more connections, and it has an actual physical Ethernet jack. So some people use them for travel. Some people use them as when hotel Wi-Fi sucks. Some people use them as in their vehicles with 120 volt adapters, where you can go in the parking lot and get internet. Or you can head down to the library. Here in Santa Cruz Public Libraries has 144 hotspot units that you can actually get from them for free, and it will give you internet wherever you are. Now, granted, all 144 right now are checked out, and there's 45 people on the wait list. I called this morning. But it's an idea, and it gives you it online, and also lets you get to the library, which is super cool. So, yeah. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, we reached the end of another Computer Man Show. If I missed your call tonight, you can always reach me by email, Luigi, Luigi, @ksqd.org. Remember to tune into the Computer Man Show Tuesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. here on 90.7 FM, K-Squid, KSQD. I'd like to thank all my listeners and my callers. Thank you so much, KSQD, Sandy Stone, Howard Fessing, Rachel Goodman, David Kibbert, John Sanders, all Santa Cruz, Nicholas Helza, Mr. Gaston, 12 Worlds, and of course, the humble Electron. Thank you again, Santa Cruz. I'm here. I'm your Computer Man here on 90.7 FM, K-Squid, KSQD, and KSQD.org. Stay tuned right now for Be in the Night. I hope you all have a positively charged evening. Until next time.